We're live. Good morning. I'm Malcolm Nance. Welcome to Black Man Spy, U.S. Iran Warcast update. Today is day 26 of the U.S. Iranian war. As you can see, by the weekend, we will be pushing the first month of war. And believe me, from the way that I only get about 5 hours sleep a night and barely, uh, it feels like this has been a much longer than a month. And from the looks at it, it's probably going to go a lot longer than a month. But let me introduce you to my co-host, Jacob Kaarsbo, Danish intelligence officer, Middle East expert. Jacob, what
Hello
kind of
there.
mug you sporting today?
Today it's the War Museum in Dnipro.
Oh, in Dnipro. Oh,
In
wow.
Dnipro, Ukraine. The
Tomorrow,
War Museum.
tomorrow I'm going to have to show up with my Russian army issue captured mug that I have. It's
mug.
their fancy stuff because we captured a headquarters. It had plates and coffee mugs. It's amazing. And our other co-host is what?
Just to say, if anyone is fancies going to a war museum, go to Dnipro. The train ride is fairly long through Ukraine, but as long as you stay covered, then there's no worries.
Yeah, you might even be contributing to that museum. Wajin Lion, salam alaikum, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Show us
you.
your coffee cup.
You got it. Just the regular Italian painting.
Oh, you're so dainty.
You know.
So I have one too. I have my Prince Charles commemorative cup that my wife, that I drink out of. That was a gift. And for me, I'm using an International Spy Museum coffee mug, which I got because I was on the board. I was on the board of advisors for 10 years now. 10 years now. They rotate everybody every 3 years. So I was on 3 times the amount of time that a person is on the board. But I'm still there. I'm still actually have exhibits in the museum, including a new one at the Spy Museum on the history of camouflage. And speaking of Dnipro Museum, in there, I have one of those handmade, it's huge. It's like 3 meters by 2 meters, a handmade camo netting that the people of Ukraine did just using old clothes. And it's actually really effective camouflage, camo netting. And that was the only place you got it. There was no military camo netting to be found in Ukraine. The civilians would just put up a netting on the wall, and when you'd walk by in the afternoon, you could come up and put on 5, 10 little knots and then go about your business. So the whole community contributed to these camo nets, and they're really awesome. I have one. I bought 2 back from Ukraine, and I have one, and I gave one to the Spy Museum. Okay, well, now that we all have our coffee, are we ready to face the day?
Exactly. And we got plus 800 people on board already. So,
Okay. I heard we got
that's good.
2,000 yesterday. And for those of you who are here, let's do some administration before we start. That little heart button down there that you see, those little floaty hearts, if you touch that 5 or 10 times, it raises the algorithm to bring more people to watch us. Also, if you haven't subscribed to one of us, or any of us, and you're new here, just touch that gray button up top that says Black Man Spy, and the subscription buttons will pop from the bottom. Just hit Jacob Carlsbo, subscribe, YG Lion, subscribe. If you have done that before, don't hit it because it says remove. Don't remove yourself. We want to keep you here and keep you informed of what's going on. First thing I think I need to do is I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, because this morning I had a hit with CNN International, which from their team in Abu Dhabi, and I had some grim things to say. As you know, I'm not here to be an optimist. I'm here to give you, and we are all here to give you hard truths. And I find it very funny that Mario Naufel, who was one of Elon Musk's favorite guys on Twitter, on X. He interviewed me again yesterday for about an hour. And every time I talk to him, I practically leave him in tears, And he's so, but as I explained to him, hard reality is hard. We are not here to blow sunshine up your butt, right? We are here to give you the facts as they exist, as analyzed by two intelligence and one geopolitical geopolitical expert. We don't want to taint you with the word intelligence there, Wajid. But you're an expert in your own right coming from the region, and it's important for people to get that perspective. But what I find funny is that the comments on YouTube are awesome about me, man. I mean, just thousands of comments like, you're the bestest, you understand. But the ones on X, it's like they have a paid troll factory, right? There'll be like 13 comments, and half of them will be, he's not an expert, he doesn't know anything. And it's like, yeah, okay, thanks, Mike Bunch of Numbers, no picture. And of course, the Russians are out in strength, right? The Russians come on there and try to attack my time when I was in Ukraine. But I just find it fascinating how there are these two worlds. And X, which we don't use, we're not using. I use X to harass people, okay? I stayed on X. I don't want you to open your X account. Don't go on there. It's a troll farm. It's just full of Nazis now. Like really blatant, open racist and Nazis. It's not worth the effort. I go on it to collect the videos, right? And to watch trends. Right now, the biggest trend is spring break and kids in bikinis on Fox News talking about how they get drunk every night. That's what Fox News is reporting about. So that being said,
where
let me
Pete
put my...
Hegseth comes from.
What's that?
I said that's where Pete Hegseth comes from.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'd have to see. I can't wait. Watch it. I know you go down to Cancun every year, right? And you get into like a little budgie smuggler, right? That's little mankini, and you just you play daddy bear, right?
Of course, take a vacation every year.
That went over poorly. You should have been appalled by that. So that being said,
I
let's
didn't
go
understand
into...
what you said, honestly.
It's true. It's true. He's a daddy bear. So there's an entire class of guy that just finds you like yummy. So
Yeah.
don't tell your husband we said that. Okay, day 26 of the U.S.-Iran war is really starting to look more like the U.S.-Iran war. We're seeing less strikes by the Israelis in Iran, and the ones that they are related almost exclusively to ballistic missiles. And the United States is now taking the lead in major combat operations. We are just like having a gap in reporting on Iranian deaths and casualties. It's frozen at 1,500, is likely to have gone up. 1,500 dead, 6,000 to 8,000 wounded. We don't know where it's at. United States military, 14 killed, 232 confirmed wounded. Israel is up 1 from 17 to 18, still 375 plus wounded. Iraq, when we saw it last, was it 56?
Something like that.
Okay, plus 7. Okay, so it's 63. They lost 7 soldiers plus 13 more wounded
It's
yesterday.
up to 87. 87 now.
87. Okay, plus 7, because that plus 7 just happened.
Yeah. Okay, just today?
Yeah,
It was
an
not the ones
airstrike.
from last night.
Is this the one at Habaniya?
Yeah, for the military base.
Yeah, okay, so it's 87.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
around about there.
the Iraqi air base at Habaniya was attacked by America.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. We talk
Will
about
they be pleased? No.
we talk about that in our significant activities. Lebanon, do you have a count?
Yeah, it's 1,182 or something, approaching 1,200.
What? This is no. This is going
Yes,
to spin out of
I
control,
said it.
Lebanon. Okay.
I said a few episodes ago. There is direct correlation between the number of people displaced and the number of people going to die in Lebanon.
Yeah.
That is not funny. Okay, oil. Oil has gone down because of all the discussion of peace by Donald Trump. The spot is between 126. This is physical oil in the Red Sea or the Indian Ocean. People who are transshipping it. I don't know how many times in my 10 years living in Abu Dhabi, every 2 weeks somebody goes, Malcolm, if you give us $5,000, we'll sell you, 500 barrels of oil and we'll trade it all on my friend's Dow. And I go, that shit's from Iraq, isn't it? Right? Sanctioned oil. They were like, I don't know where it comes from. And they all wanted me to get in on the deal, right? Loads of oil is being sold off of Dows and speedboats out there. I mean, it's just one of those things. Trucks that have, guys that when the pumps go off, there's bleed over. There are guys who will steal that oil, or go into oil fields at night and steal it, and then they sell it. So interesting. Right now, so the spot is at 126, down from 146, between 126 and 140. Brent North Sea crude is down from $112 to 99.67. West Texas Intermediate is down 88.12, which is down. Now, in the United States, that is not going to help your gas prices, which have gone up $1 a gallon in 1 month on average. That's the average. Many places have gone up $2. In California, as many as $3 a gallon. To fill my car was a month ago, pre-war, was about $62. I have a 20-gallon gas tank. Yeah, today it pushed, or the other day it pushed almost 100. They are profiteering off of this as well. Okay, you notice though that we now bring up the price of oil ahead of significant activities because this is not a military war anymore. This is an economic war. This is literally an oil war. More than arguably any other war that came before, this one's almost purely about oil.
Yeah.
So anybody have any comments on the price of oil?
No, I mean, if you look at the market, it's quite absurd that they believe all that talk about negotiations because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that that ends are not going to meet, and that this is likely to go on, and there'll be no relief around the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah. All right, let's go into significant. Go ahead. Why'd you?
I think that the future price of oil is very unstable. It's starting in the forecast for the third quarter and the fourth quarter. They're thinking it might go down to $90. They're hoping it would do so, but these are just the promises that Trump has been giving, and the world is just responding a little bit to it. We'll see. The Iranians keep saying that the Trump administration negotiations aren't happening. Meanwhile, Trump is saying, well, there are negotiations happening, and here's like what I want to have to see from the Iranians. So we'll see. The price lowering is based on the expectation that the war will end. Once that expectation becomes solid, we will have a good idea whether the price keeps going up or if the price becomes stable.
Okay, good. Very true. Moving on. Let's move on to other SIG acts. According to Donald Trump, the war is over, but it's still going on. All right. I'm going to play the video later when we get into the diplomatic section because now we've reached a place where I'm not sure whether this is just pure I'm certain that this is mental illness masquerading as foreign policy. That's the way I put it. There's no continuity. One minute he says one thing, the next minute he says the other thing, and he believes all of them, right? So that's interesting. Okay, speaking of significant activities, there were 2 spectacular penetrations yesterday. So that's our new category after significant activity, are spectacular penetrations.
So that was
And
above
trademark.
SIGX. That's above SIGX. That's before. That's
Okay. But there were 2 really big spectacular penetrations yesterday that we're going to talk about because they were both significant. First, there was an FPV drone strike on the U.S. base at Camp Victory. It was done with those little drones. You put the goggles on and you fly it like you're in the drone. And they've struck 2 critical items. One was a Sky Sentinel air defense radar, and the other, which was worth hundreds of thousands of US dollars, if not more than a million. And the other was a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. And you can be sure they're coming back today. That was yesterday. It was a medevac helicopter, but I noticed they blanked out the red crosses on there. What I'm going to do is flip this around. You can see it.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Al Jazeera's doing it.
There you have the spectacular penetration.
Now, because it's like they have to motivate people to do jihad as much as like any military has to motivate people to join the war. These videos are very strong propaganda videos for people in Iran.
They are. And this is the Heshab Shabi. These are the Iranian-backed Iraqi militias. Okay, here's the other. That's the Black Hawk going up in flames. And right here is the video of the Sky Sentinel radar going up in flames. So they took out the radar first. Now they're going after the helicopter. Because who's going to stop them?
There's an uncle at a coffee shop sitting down going, mashallah, tabarak, mashallah.
Yeah. These videos work for propaganda purposes. They really do. And, also it's an example of how, oh, by the way, I want to show this. This is them flying around the radar to check it out. By the way, there were 3 drones, multiple drones, one for that radar that exploded, one for the helicopter that exploded, and one videotaping both of those attacks. So just take a look at this real quick.
There's someone asking who's doing what. The people who are flying the drone are associated with the IRGC.
Yeah.
And they're heading U.S. military base.
Let me tell you something. These guys, I was in Ukraine. These guys are about to get an education if we land in Iran about what FPV drones really do, and we are not very good about it. Okay, now we have a new one, another spectacular penetration. Kuwait International Airport was struck last night by drones. One second. By drones, and they struck the fuel park. Does anyone notice a theme that's happening here? They are trying to destroy all of the fuel and liquids and lubricants that were paid for and purchased cheaply before the war. So by destroying the jet fuel park in Kuwait City, you have to replace that with rubber bladders of now the 3 times more expensive jet fuel if you want to do anything. And that airport's still open. So this is a Shaheed drone. You can tell by the noise, right? On there. So just pay it. I'll just make this big so you all see it. There you go. I love watching these.
The cuss words.
Okay, that's one. And then there's another perspective. These are interceptors going out, but they're going after a ballistic missile. So everyone is still getting hit by missiles every night.
Yeah.
I think they slowed a little bit against the Gulf nations because they noticed that like the Saudi Arabia and the UAE just got pushed over the edge, and they don't want to push the rest of them over the edge to join the war. They just want to hit them enough to put an economic strain on the world economy, but they don't want to hit them too much that the rest of the Gulf nations join the war.
Yes. Yesterday, Israel had, speaking of spectacular penetrations, 10 ballistic missiles over 24 hours. They are staggering them out. This picture that you're looking at is the Hadera gas-fired power plant. This is north of Netanya in northern Israel, right between Haifa and Netanya in northern Israel. I saw this one, and I've seen the other one, the coal plant down in Zakim, just really close to Gaza, like a kilometer outside of Gaza. These are huge power plants. They missed that power plant, but the message being sent was, we can hit your power plants. You want to play this game over here in Egypt? Or Egypt, listen to me. In Iran, it will hurt worse if we hit Israel. Now, they could put 2 or 3 down on that place and blank out all of northern Israel. Haifa, black. So the message is being sent. We're now in this tit for tat, we can touch your power war, right? And no one has done it yet, full scale, but everyone is hinting that they have the capacity to really make things hurt.
I'd also say just about the Gulf countries not being hit so much right now is also because of this whole Donald Trump talk about negotiations. And we've had the Gulf countries say, well, we also want a seat at the table, and we want security guarantees. We want Iran not to attack us, and we want the Americans not to drag the whole region into a war. So for Iran right now, it makes sense to leave them alone and to save the ammo. And then if America starts to strike Iran when these so-called negotiations break down, the Iranians are ready to strike back at the Gulf countries. So
well,
this all
speaking of
makes
negotiations,
sense.
Yeah. Speaking of negotiations, we have a bit of video here because apparently, after Donald Trump said that he was in negotiations with Iran, Pete Hegseth came and gave a different perspective on what's going on. Listen to this.
The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. That's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This is the air.
Let me give this again.
Loiter over the top of Tehran.
Wait.
We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice.
We negotiate with bombs. Is this idiot? I mean, good God, is it just, are they 5-year-olds? Is this like some bad episode of G.I. Joe, the cartoon? We negotiate with bombs.
The war fighters. Their hands are untied.
War fighters out there being as vicious and as mean. And it's like, what the hell? This guy will go down in history as the worst Secretary of Defense ever.
The quicker we can get him to a cell in The Hague, the better.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
All
where
right.
he belongs.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. I hope that the next president, if it's a Democrat, comes out and say, sorry, we are going to sign the International Criminal Court Treaty and Americans can be extradited, because it's very clear the U.S. court system cannot handle war criminals.
No.
Let me tell you what, Archer and Pete Hegseth has a lot in common. I don't know if you've ever seen Archer,
Archer,
the
the
American.
cartoon?
Yep.
No,
There's so much.
Archer's cool. Archer has been around. Okay, Archer has learned things. He's got an incredible ego, but he is actually very good. Archer accepts the cultures of other people, even though whether it's drinking scorpion whiskey from Thailand, which I've drunk, or rattlesnake whiskey from Cambodia. Look, Archer has some style. Okay. That being
Yeah,
said,
except for
let's
the
move
US
on to
law.
U.S. act. Let's
I
move
have
on
a
to U.S.
question about
activities.
the strike on. I had a question about the Iranian strike on Israel. Did they use a cluster missile? And was that
No.
because the only reason they were able to get it? No? Okay.
Some missiles, don't forget, there were 10 attacks yesterday. Some of them did use cluster, but the one on the Hadera power plant was a unitary bomb. One big
Okay, thank you.
explosion. Because they wanted to cause maximum damage. They used the cluster on civilian areas. Okay, this vessel is the USNS John L. Carey. It's a very strange-looking ship. This is passing Singapore. This ship is a special operations expeditionary support ship, right? Called an ESB. This vessel has on it, there's 4 U.S. Air Force Osprey Special Operations Penetration Helicopter, Little Bird helicopters from the U.S. Army, and MH-60 Special Operations Helicopter. Now, I'm quite surprised when I was asked on CNN today, they said, is this part of a plan, all of these movements, or does it appear ad hoc? This is an example of ad hoc. I had said a week ago, if they were serious about going to Hormuz, where is the Expeditionary Sea Base at? The ESBs. There was one in Gaeta, Italy that hasn't moved, right? Well, who is that supporting? Right? It's supposed to have spaces for like 200 SEALs and Rangers and Special Forces. This is the vessel for U.S. Special Forces at sea. One was stationed off of Trinidad and Tobago when they did Venezuela. We're flying helicopters all over the place. Why isn't this in the Persian Gulf? Apparently somebody said, oh, yeah, we should bring up the Expeditionary Sea Base. And they don't bring it from freaking Italy, which is closer because they don't want it to be attacked off Yemen. They bring it from freaking Asia. Singapore is 10 days sailing. So mark it. Let's play that calendar. Today is what? The 7th? 25th, right? 25th. 25th plus 10. How many days? What date is that? That's the first. What date is that? The 3rd?
For 5th. Is it the 5th of April?
Of April. Okay, 5 April, the ESB arrives, right? Probably another 2 weeks after that, the Bataan group arrives. So now we're in mid-April. But I suspect the 82nd Airborne, which, by the way, this is the next segment. We're going to talk about U.S. deployments. The 82nd Airborne, 1,000 troops from the U.S. 82nd Airborne are moving right now to the Middle East. We already saw that there is 2 separate Special Operations Task Force, one going to Israel, which is probably Delta Force SEAL Team 6, and the other going to Jordan, which is probably the Rangers and all these other groups, are already in the Middle East. This morning, we saw 25 C-17 transports land at McGuire Air Force Base, Joint Base. It's called Joint Base McGuire, Lakenheath-Dix in New Jersey. And we suspect that they are preparing to bring elements of the 621st Contingency Response Wing, which we talked about yesterday, the U.S. Air Force runway repairers, which tells you a lot. They intend to fix a runway. They're not bringing Seabees, right? Navy Seabees. They're bringing a specialty group for that. The rest of them, probably 24 other aircraft, are preparing to fly down to Pope Army Air Base in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and pick up 1,000 paratroopers. Now, where they land will be very interesting, because we already got one group in Jordan, one group in Israel that are right next to each other. And I will go to the map for this. Now the Expeditionary Sea Base is coming. So that will join the Patan Amphibious Readiness Group, which is coming across the Pacific. It'll join the USS Tripoli Group, which is supposed to be there Friday. It left Diego Garcia to check its amphibious ships. And that means this will come up. Another question is, where are the 2 damn minesweepers? Well, as of 4 days ago, they're still in Singapore, right? Down at goddamn Lord Nelson's bar, which if you know, you know, right? It's an off-limits bar for U.S. sailors that all the sailors end up in. And those 2 minesweeping ships have not moved to the Arabian Gulf. There's one up there somewhere, and if they're going to try to force their way through the Strait of Hormuz, and a ship hits a mine, that whole program's over. And I have all these know-it-alls, military know-it-alls constantly telling you, well, Malcolm, you just don't understand. We have a great minesweeping capability and blah, blah, blah. Yes, we sort of have a great minesweeping capability if you're there, but it's a little hard to do knocking down Singapore slings and mai tais, right? Which is a noble endeavor. By the way, speaking, I'm touching my inner archer here. So, all right, wait for it. A noble endeavor, but it's the minesweeping force. So if it does not join this expeditionary warfare or expeditionary sea vessel, then this is mind-boggling. But the ESB will be the Navy and Army Special Operations vessel for all of those bases in the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm going to, I'll talk about this in a minute after we finish the deployments. I estimate that there are 1,082nd Airborne, 500 Rangers, 2 companies of Rangers. That's like every gun they got. And at least 300 special operations, including their shooters and planners and support personnel. That's SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, and they may be just like clearing out Naval Special Warfare Unit 1 and Special Warfare Unit 2 on both sides of the United States, and they're secretly flying to Uvda Air Base in Israel right now. I don't know. All I know is, hey guys, this is a shitload more people than they need for the islands. And now I'm starting to think that my Substack article, if you haven't read it, go read it. The one that says boots on the ground is coming. Well, now my next Substack I'm putting out today is boots on the ground is imminent. It's going to happen. We're not moving this for fun. Now I'm starting to think they're fucking going to Iran. They're going to jump into Iran. They're going to seize that fucking mountain. They're going to try to hold it for 5 or 10 days. They're going to clear a runway or repair a runway, and they're going to take out Ballistic Missile City there, or go into the former nuclear weapons storage facility and bring out fucking backhoes, because that's what I think that special contingency wing is for. They're going to fix the runway, but they're also going to be bringing out backhoes and bulldozers, and they're going to go into that facility. I think all 3 of my scenarios are going to happen simultaneously. It's all there. Otherwise, none of these people would be there. none of these forces would be moving. And here's the kicker. It seems like they just decided this a few days ago, less than a week ago. Because none of this shit was happening, and they're not waiting for the Boxer, which will be there in 3 more weeks. So 1, 2, 3 operations could be going where the Boxer will come in after the Tripoli group has landed in all those islands and then bring relief forces in. But you don't bring 1,000 airborne. They're not parachuting. And if they are parachuting, they're going to parachute into a high risk objective quickly. Yeah, watching.
It's the report from 17 hours ago are saying 3,000.
Well,
82nd Airborne.
I think they get their numbers wrong. I heard that it was 1,000 this morning. It's being reported, but 3,000 is the entire brigade. All right, that's everything. That's from parachute riggers to headquarters units, logistics and supply. That's the whole ready brigade. The alert brigade right there is 1,000 parachutists. Their chutes are always packed, right? Their primary, their secondary chutes are always packed. They just fucking, they're on alert, which means they're doing their regular duties like, cleaning the toilets and making up their beds and go into range. And then when they get an alert, they drop everything. That designated unit heads to their HHQ, right? Their headquarters unit. They get briefed up at all their companies. The orders come down. They get their shit together. They get their loadout, right? They fucking draw live ammunition because they don't deploy without their ammunition on them. Full combat load, maybe double combat load, plus all their heavy machine gun ammo, missiles, everything. And that stuff gets put onto a pallet, and they take their backpacks and their weapons, because I saw it in Desert Storm, and they fly out to this base, Uvda, or probably Jordan for this one, depending on their side. If it's 82nd, I wouldn't doubt if it's Saudi Arabia, because they need a big-ass base for 1,000 guys. Yeah.
But still, regarding the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, without those minesweepers, they can launch stuff from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, etc. But still, they have no minesweeping capability. And
well, apparently one ship is missing, USS Canberra, which may be in the Indian Ocean. But what I suspect, because they're dumbasses that don't think shit through, all right, what I suspect is that they're going to place heavy emphasis on using the Sea King. I'm so old. Using the helicopters, right? What they call the Nighthawks, right? Nighthawk is a special mine clearing version of the Seahawk, and they drag behind it noisemakers, influencers, and they can actually wire cutters and do that. Now, when I was in Desert Storm, we had a massive helicopter for that, the MH-53 Sea Stallion, and that thing could carry cables that would literally cut the chains on mines. These Seahawks are only pulling a noisemaker and an influencer. And if they're depending on that to lead in, and maybe they'll bring in a derelict tanker, which is what we call a de facto minesweeper, run by the MSC. There's a lot of derelict tankers. They could just bring it up, and then the ships follow it. And that tanker will explode the mines. But if there's anything I've learned from hitting a mine and having been in another minefield when another U.S. warship hit 6 years earlier, is that mines, you can hit a mine and explode it, but the influence of it and the wave can push other mines out of the way while you're going by, and then they come back into position, which means the next ship can hit a mine.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're only clearing the width of that ship, right? Whereas real minesweepers, by the way, when I was on USS Tripoli, the helicopter carrier in Desert Storm, and we hit a mine, we were behind in a channel that had been swept by 2 British minesweepers and a minesweeping helicopter, and we hit a mine. Get it? no guarantee to any of this.
No.
And so that's why all of this is crazy. But these numbers, back to the story, these numbers are for everything. The Marines could handle all the islands in the Strait of Hormuz from the Eastern SOH. Delta or some soft team can handle Karg Island plus all the gas oil platforms, like down near Farsi Island. There's GoPlats. There's GoPlats, a couple of GoPlats west of Hormuz. I'm sorry, Karg Island. In the Forshan oil field, that's where Farsi Island is. We saw those. We freaking seen the Rev Guard has men on those. They're going to blast them. We did it before. But what is the 1,000 airborne for? What is 500 Rangers for? They going to Iran, y'all. And they're going to parachute in. I don't know. I guess they're going to be on a runway where they can all embark and debark, parachute in, and then fix a runway and then fly out. That would be exciting. What do y'all say?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Spice?
but again, what do they want? What do they want to achieve? You know, they can't really achieve much. They can't open the Strait of Hormuz. They can't. It'll make matters worse, I think.
It makes matter worse for the United States because once you have more casualties and
you have real ones this time.
You will have the morale of not only your citizens but your soldiers, which is really important. Not only they don't know why they're going to this war, not only they don't understand how this war is going into their life. Not only they have to say their goodbyes, and for many of them, they can't even say a goodbye because it's they have to leave in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night, and I don't see how this plays in the best benefit of the United States, other than U.S. lives will be lost. There's why. Once you drop US soldiers in a country that's mostly hostile, meaning the majority of the people think the Americans are enemies. They they think Americans are going to be either a spy who is going to undermine their nation, and therefore any Americans that go on the ground will become immediate target for, if not the soldiers, the citizens. I just don't see how this is going to work.
Well, I'm going to give you my stratospheric view of it. I just think they want to do what they could call a big historic operation. I think we are into Tom Clancy land here, and they've just decided we're not going to ramp down, we're ramping up, which leads me to 100% what I said yesterday. These negotiations are all bullshit. They are strategic deception campaign designed to calm the markets. But I think they think that they're going to do something fucking amazing by Friday. I'm going to be honest with you. All right. Full disclosure. Okay. It's quite possible that those guys embark those aircraft, or those 25 aircraft, and they fly all the way to the Middle East, in-flight refuel. And then suddenly you see that Special Operations Task Force taking off out of Jordan and flying over Iraq and everything. And those aircraft fly straight to fucking Isfahan. No stops. And they get there and they're at fucking 5,000 feet, and they fucking do a combat jump right onto it. There has not been a real combat jump done since World War II. And I think somebody got it. Hugh Gilliton, Market Garden meets Gallipoli, right? Market Garden was the biggest airborne jump in history. It was a disaster. A disaster. Yeah. Go watch the movie, A Bridge Too Far. All right? Somebody out there's thinks Market Garden, we're going to do the biggest jump since Market Garden. Bro, don't mention Market Garden. You want to mention some shit? Mention Saint Mary Glees, a good one that that succeeded. Don't mention disasters. That's like saying we're going to do like the Russians in the Battle of Hostomel. Don't ever bring a disaster up as an example. But this is where we are. I think they're going to do a full-scale combat jump this weekend, right into Iran.
Yeah, that might be.
Maybe I'm wrong.
But no, it could very well be. And I think it's just important to remember that, the Iranians are prepared for this. They're not going to give in to blackmail and these schemes. And everyone also needs to understand when the US had 120,000 soldiers in Iraq, they were still active. They were still supporting the militia, etc., etc. So, 10,000 troops doesn't matter. The Iranians will keep up the fight, and they'll use it to their advantage. And there doesn't seem to be a clear objective. Of course, if they could get all the highly enriched uranium out of Iran, that'll be a good thing. But
how?
Let's go. Yeah, exactly. If they could, and they. I don't think they can. That's going to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if these motherfuckers bought 18 to 20 transport containers, right? Thinking they're going to be able to package it themselves. And then when this thing turns, tits up, they go, we have the containers. And they show 18 goddamn containers, right? This White House, it wouldn't put it past me. YG.
Well, let me ask you this. Are there any American special forces that have enough training to know how to deal with uranium or nuclear byproducts if they want to take them out of Iran?
Some, but I think it's more like they're working in a nuclear environment. When I was stationed in Coronado, I used to work with the Army's EOD, the special EOD unit that handled nuclear weapons and nuclear materials, and they exist. They're not like Delta Force troopers, right? They're regular Army soldiers who know how to dismantle shit, okay? And they have to fight. They have great equipment, but if they have to fight their way out, they need the Rangers and Delta and the 82nd to have a full fucking circle around them while they do their thing.
Wow.
And they also be.
But here's what you're going to get. I got a Geiger counter. That doesn't mean you're going to detect radiation. If the Iranian material is in shielded containers, you're going to have to physically look with your eyes.
Yeah.
Then you're going to meet some guy who sells tea down the road named Hussein. They're all named Hussein over there, or Muhammad. And Hussein is one guy, Muhammad's his brother, and Ali is his cousin. And they're going to say, oh, they took that out last year. Trucks everywhere.
Are both the grandkids of the Prophet.
Yeah, that's why. That's why everyone in Iraq and Ukraine or Iraq and Iran are named Hussein. So anyway, all jokes aside, guys, they may get there on the ground, and the Israelis are telling them this is where it's at. And I'm telling you, we do a jump. I better see goddamn Mossad and Golani Brigade Israeli soldiers alongside of us. This should not be an American risk, 100% American risk. They've gotten us into this. They can share the risk of going on the ground in Iran. But, this is very, very high risk. And I'm afraid to say my assessment is they have come up with this plan by saying, you know what, this will look cool. That's it. Big parachute jump. Not bigger than anything done. In Vietnam, they did a couple of jumps, and in Korea, they did some jumps. This will look cool. This will be the biggest jump since Market Garden. Not knowing what Market Garden was, which is a parachuting disaster. Oh, help me, Jesus. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh, Okay, in Iranian attacks yesterday, they struck Kuwait's international airport. 26 drones were fired at Saudi Arabia and 1 ballistic missile, 10 ballistic missiles at Israel. We talked about the spectacular penetration at Hadera. And they're staging it. The Israelis are noticing a pattern. Someone explain to me how they're firing all these goddamn missiles, because I heard that we destroyed all of their missiles and all their capacity, and that it's all a sign of a dying country. They've been dying for 30 days.
90%. Pretenders, we destroyed 90% of their drone capability and 90% of their missile capability. Come on.
It's obliterated.
Mhm. Hold on. I'm being distracted because Al Jazeera has, what's her name up there? Is it Kayleigh McEnany or no, Caroline Levitt or whatever? And she is saying that Iran refuses to say yes to peace. That's bold. There's some bold stuff going on there. All right, economic warfare. You will enjoy this. The impacts of this war are spreading into weird places. France removed $12.8 billion of gold bars from a U.S. bank, which was stored there for safekeeping, back to France. 14.862 billion US dollars has now been repatriated because they don't know if Trump may do something like what the Hungarians are doing to Hungary is doing to Ukraine. They seized up like $1 billion of Ukrainian gold that was sent for safekeeping. France is like, fuck y'all. It's back in Paris now. What does that tell you about the state of trust between France and the United States on the market? They don't even trust our banks anymore.
Well, not only they don't go for it. Sorry.
Even the French chief of the army said yesterday that the U.S. is an unpredictable partner. So when when a high-ranking military officer says something like that, you can tell the government has given up on the U.S.
Even if they're retired, and especially those retired guys. I've been on French television before, and they always put you on, one expert.
This is the active
Wow.
chief of the army.
Wow. Okay, that's saying something. In other economic news, people are starting to really understand that things are not going back to normal anytime soon. So the United Arab Emirates has created a new container transport scheme. Whoops, I'm sorry. A container transport scheme where they're going to use the port from Sharjah of Khor Fakkan. Why? I cannot keep this. I keep pressing the button. There it is. One push. There you go. They have decided they are moving containers which would have come into the Gulf to Jebel Ali and to Abu Dhabi port are now going to Khor Fakkan. Khor Fakkan is a seaport that is part of the United Arab Emirates. It belongs to the Emirate of Sharjah. You know, the United Arab Emirates is 7 separate emirates. There is a straight highway right here from Khor Fakkan Commercial Terminal straight to Sharjah. It's a really nice highway. Now they're going to go there to a place called Sajjad Dry Port. The dry port is a container storage area. I know because I had to transfer a car. I had to take it there. And now they're going to go down through the secondary transport highway that they built just for trucks. And it's in the desert. I mean, and if you go through Dubai and you're on the main highway and you can see water, you are not on the primary truck highway. And they're going to bring that all the way down to the border, cross there up to Dammam, Saudi Arabia, and distribute from there, from Dammam, Saudi Arabia. Also, they're going to be running ships from Sharjah to Dammam. Now, of course, if those ships don't have to be insured too much because they're already in the Persian Gulf. So a lot of container ships that are there can now divert to Dammam, and if they want to pay a super premium, all their containers can be put onto trucks and brought over to Khor Fakkan. Now, it would have been a simple 25-mile trip, like that. But now it's going to be like 200 miles. for your container, which means there may be some hope of getting my Land Rover Defenders shipped back to the United States. I have 3 of them, and I've been waiting to put them on a container for 2 years, and now it'll be like a year before anybody can move a container again. Okay, that's what's
Here's
going
the
on
interesting
there.
part about this whole situation between the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Right before this conflict, the Saudi UAE relationship deteriorated in a very large amount because of the situation in Yemen. I'm not going to get into it. But this conflict has reinstated the Saudi UAE relationship, where just 2, 3 weeks ago they were not even talking to each other. Now they have reestablished like that corridor, and in addition to that, they have pushed a lot of propaganda on social media recently supporting the Saudi UAE relationship.
Mhm. All right. Interesting. By the way, Al Jazeera is reporting right now the Speaker of Iran's parliament, the guy that Trump was saying he's the guy he can talk to,
Calibaf.
is
Mhm.
saying, I'm sorry?
Calibaf.
Yes. He is saying, yeah, Galibaf. He is saying no secret talks are taking place. Trump is lying. This is fake news. Now, that's
Trump
the
is
nature of how they.
negotiating with himself. That's what they're saying.
He is. He's a wazir. The wazir up there is saying that this isn't true. So maybe yes, maybe no. I have a video because there are 3 great pieces of propaganda video that are out today. I'm sorry, we're losing the propaganda war. But first, I want to touch on some U.S. material that I didn't mention. This vessel right here is called the MV Ocean Trader. It was a ship that we bought from a Norwegian company years ago. And this is the ultimate U.S. Special Operations CIA support vessel. Last seen off of Puerto Rico and then down off of Venezuela. This is where like CIA paramilitaries and Tier 1 special national mission units, Delta Force would be on this ship. If this ship pops up off of Oman, they're throwing everything at it, but it hasn't showed up yet. These are the Marine amphibious assault or amphibious combat vehicle that the Marines have new. Interesting. These are the principal transports for Marines ashore. They carry 10 soldiers each, 10 Marines each, not soldiers, 10 Marines each. The Tripoli Amphibious Task Force only has 14 of these total. So if one sinks or one has a flat tire, they're supposed to run flat, one gets destroyed, they can only bring ashore simultaneously using armor just 140 soldiers at a time. And that means that these vehicles also have to fight. So they don't go back to the ship and shuttle people. That's your troop. And they make the amphibious beachhead, literally, and fight at the beaches. There could be mines there. And of course, the secondary forces, you want to clear a beachhead and then fly them in by helicopter or by Osprey tilt rotor aircraft. But I found it very surprising because I thought they would have, like, when they were in Sasebo, Japan, with orders to get there, they would have been like, double up, guys. Nope. Standard 14. That's all. That's all they got. Now, then the LCAC, the Landing Craft Air Cushion, which is the giant hydrofoil hovercraft that's there. I know you guys don't want to see pictures of me cross-country skiing. The LCACs, let me see if I can find you a picture of those. They only have 2. And the LCACs are supposed to be bringing in all your heavy logistics. So it's like, wait a minute, you don't even have any real amphibious lift, in this war. How are you coming to this without any capability to go, I'm going to show you the LCAC LCAC. How are you supposed to, one, fight yourself ashore and then to actually get there and sustain yourself because the LCACs bring up everything. And when I was in Desert Storm, I saw some very clever ways that they had to dismantle, to damage LCACs. They have a rubber skirt, and that rubber skirt cannot be torn. And if it's torn, the air falls out. This is what an LCAC is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 2 in the entire amphibious group. And that's bringing in all your food, water, ammunition after you've landed. And if you have these in full operation coming from ship to shore, they're very fast. You have only 15 days worth of food and materials. And if that gets damaged or destroyed, you're shit out of luck. Now, I thought when they were in Japan, they should have gotten 4. Nope, only got 2. And the Boxer ARG is bringing 2 more for 4 to manage 5,000 shooting troops. Did any of you give any thought to this? Because if we had really pre-planned this in a war, we would have had another ship bring 8. Right? We would be emptying the east coast of the United States for LCACs and other things to sustain the fight. None of that shit's happening. Nobody is doing that.
Malcolm,
So,
question, Malcolm. No, I'm not a military expert. Is 140 soldiers enough to infiltrate any Iranian beaches?
well, I mean, that's the first wave. You would soften the beach up with artillery and all these things. 140 is a good start, but theoretically, the LCACs and other vehicles, those landing craft with the ramps, they call them LCUs. They only got 2 of them. So I guess they think they're going to fly in, right? Okay, you might be able to fly in, but you better hope that place is secure. All right, let's enough talk about that. Let's go to merchant activity. Multipass is in full swing. Multipass. Right now, 6 ships went through the Strait of Hormuz, came and left through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. That's 6 times more than the previous day. They are all using the multipass toll booth here between Kashem and Larak Island and using the separation scheme. I call this the multipass traffic separation scheme. Not one of those ships is daring go through the main Strait of Hormuz. Iran now is planning on creating a payment scheme that $2 million for every ship. And this may become formal. Okay. Now imagine 130 ships having your security guaranteed by Iran.
The $2 million per ship is actually part of the current negotiation. If it is part of the current negotiation, the current demands of Iran. They said they want the current control of the Hormuz, meaning they wanted to be able to charge whatever they want per ship crossing.
Yeah. All right. So I want to play one more video, and then I'm going to get to the comedy part of this show because we need to lighten up here. We're already over 4 minutes over. So this is Trump.
We have one important issue we've forgotten.
What's that?
Malcolm? That's what happened in Iraq, because that's fairly serious.
The fight, the U.S. base, the U.S. attacked an Iraqi military installation. Go ahead.
Right here.
Habaniya. I've been to Habaniya.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know that air base has been there since 1915? They flew biplanes out of it.
No, I didn't know.
The British.
That. But it's important. Why is it important? The U.S. has been hitting the Iranian pro-Iranian militias hard, but this time they struck a Iraqi military compound. They're saying it's a military hospital, etc. I don't know about that. But anyway, it was the Iraqi forces. And that puts the government that was already really upset with the U.S. Is now even more upset, and we'll see what the religious leaders say. people should remember that the reason why we have the popular mobilization forces that have incorporated all the militias, etc., were because Ali al-Sistani, the Grand Ayatollah, came out with a fatwa back when ISIL was established. ISIS was established in this whole area. And that was what paved the way for that. And when you start striking Iraqi military targets, it could become a very big problem.
Yeah, you could suddenly see the government of Iraq flip in favor of government of Iran at the pressure. Yeah. Don't forget, Iraqi is 85% Shia Muslim. 85% Shia, which means they're on the side of Iran, most people. By U.S. killing 7 Iraqi army soldiers. They did hit the hospital. I'm watching a video. There's a video where a guy runs back in and he's saying, as A-10 is doing a gun run on them. Yeah. And he says they hit the hospital, Mustashfa. Right? Yeah. Oops. And an engineering building on a known Iraqi base that we built. Okay, go figure. I don't know what they thought, but this is a diplomatic problem extraordinaire. It could break our relations if this continues.
Exactly.
Okay, now it's time for first, I got to show the video of Trump saying the Iraqis or the Iranians are coming and negotiating with him. And did you know they gave him a very expensive present? That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Give us a present.
That's what he said.
Listen.
When the president arrived today, it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we deal with the right people. No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. It was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because it was amazing, actually. They gave us...
Okay, analysis. I'm too stunned to talk.
Analysis. It's fucking nuts.
Do something.
That's not the only crazy thing he said in that press briefing. He said even something that threw the whole GCC under the bus. I don't know if you heard that, but Trump was asked about the UAE Saudi involvement and Qatar, and the UAE Saudi and Qatar was like, we're not involved. We have nothing to do with this. Trump was like, no, they're all part of this war. They've been involved since the beginning.
Well, but somebody explain what this present is that's oil and gas related. Somebody give him a refinery? Did somebody name the Donald Trump, J. Trump gas oil platform?
I think a tower with the Trump name.
A tower. For 1 second, I thought you said Tawla. A backgammon board.
And new Ayatollah Peace Prize.
The Ayatollah. That is the new. I'm going to draft that up. I'm going to get ChatGPT to make that up.
We forgot to mention that yesterday was when he said, in questions to the CNN, he said, I'll control the Strait of Hormuz. And the CNN journalist asked him, but will you control it alone? No, we'll control it jointly, probably.
Yeah, with the Ayatollah.
With the Ayatollah. With Ayatollah. And probably, I don't know who the Ayatollah is, but maybe a new Ayatollah, just some Ayatollah.
Yeah, he's definitely a Middle Eastern expert, y'all.
But and this gift that they gave to him, which was very expensive, right? It just shows that the guy's waiting for a fucking bribe. And it shows I'm dealing with the right people. Those right people will be hanging from a fucking lamppost if this is true. Right? Trust me, IRGC, they will strap your ass to a rocket. All right? And you will burn up in the atmosphere when an Israeli missile, impacts on you. This is crazy talk, people. Crazy talk from the president of the United States claiming Iran sent him secret, super expensive gifts, which related to oil and gas. Did they name, again, the Donald J. Trump oil platform? They'll say, Trump Tower Iran. It comes with free oil.
Go to TrumpOil.com.
You know what? I shit you not. I shit you not. He is going to come out and say, we were told we could have Karg Island and that it's a gift to Donald Trump. And how the fuck are we not talking about mental illness here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We're all speechless. Let's go to the funny stuff. Okay, well, let's go to the funny stuff because, okay, I'm going to show you a video from a guy who's on TikTok.
So Trump was the tragic segment. So now...
Yeah, the whole thing is tragic. We're at the end of the briefing. I'll go to questions in a minute. But first, you guys need some fun. And this video is from a guy named Drewby. He's a Canadian. And I love this guy. Normally he's on TikTok, but I think he might have left TikTok. He's so angry with them. And he does Trump in the White House with marshmallows, right? And the main character is a Canadian journalist named Smorsy. And Smorsy comes into the press conference and is always talking shit, right? And this is hilarious. So listen to this one. This is about the negotiations.
Thank you for coming, everybody. I had a wonderful party in Mar-a-Lago. How are things going in Iran? Oh my God, is this all you people talk about? I mean, it's kind of a big deal. The party was great. Thank you for asking, jerk. And we're having wonderful talks with Iran. Who specifically are you talking to? I can't tell you who it is, but they're like so important. Call Iran. Call Iran. Wait a minute, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just calling Iran to find out what's true. They're probably so busy. Hello, this is Iran. How can I help you? Damn it. Hey, what's up? It's Canada. How's it going? Not bad. Hey, are you talking to America right now? America. It's the one with the leader that looks like someone glued hair on a jellyfish. Oh, yeah, those guys, they're bombing us. Fake news. You're the jellyfish. Is that him? Is your company such a loser? Oh, dude, such a loser. I can hear you. Any peace talks yet? Oh, no, he tweeted he was going to blow up a power plant. I called that off. They agreed to open the strait. Hey, did you open the strait? Negatives. Now, turns out everyone here doesn't like getting bombed. Wait a minute. What about the present? What the hell are you talking about? It's a wonderful present, very big, very expensive. It arrived today. I don't know what you're saying. Hey, did anyone here send a present? No, you're full of shit. Who gave you the fucking present? It was a wonderful lady. Her name was Nari. You say Nari? I don't know what Nari. Oh yeah, he's full of shit. It's just I ran backward. Damn it.
This guy is so good. He nailed that perfectly. Okay, Iran is so good at trolling Trump. I'm saying this as an intelligence professional. They have won the propaganda and meme wars. There's nothing out there, other than, for the Americans, the towel head pictures that they insult people with. The Iranians are fucking awesome. The Iranians and the Chinese AI made videos are incredible. They've already won the meme wars, right? This one was put out, it looks like it's Chinese. So watch this one because it's probably accurate.
This is President Trump. Hello, Mr. Trump. Let's make peace, make peace. No way. If you don't accept peace, very bad bombing, very bad. Okay, give us 5 days to think. Okay, deal. 5 days.
That's a Chinese video, and I'm not sure how inaccurate that is. I think it might be.
He's negotiating with himself. Yeah.
I tweeted 100% accurate. 100% accurate. Okay, and the last one is the IRGC has put out another rap song Lego video every other day. They're putting this out. This thing has millions of freaking views. It's not like people aren't retweeting it. One, I don't know who the rapper is, but they got a black guy over there who's really good. But or there's an AI that's awesome. But here's the other Lego video.
Yeah. Crush the ocean just to find you. Sacrifice John Boys for life. Yeah. Good. Make America great, yes. At those city of vision crave. Yeah. Make America great again now. We will see what happens, yeah. Washington. Protecting the soil. Why you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil? You in the globe, sitting on your throne, now we turning every page into a bed of stone. It's not a house. You couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. Chris, I leave. The pressure is rising. You on your target. You are hiding. No, I see you. Send it to your you the only one to claim. It felt up the way you shaking in your sweet and all the sea. Always that to the sea. Send it to the side of you gone. Sweet and all the sea. Like knees so hot and Epstein's dogs. You sent a boy to down a bloody coat. Not a revenge for believing his blood is purely mine. Every drop of his blood is a missile on the line. So I thought the fire was dead, but another combination standing there. Yeah, you strike one down, we shatter your brain. We put another in the combination again. It's bricks that are naked. You pressure your sides. Yeah, I'm not target. You are high, send them to the super, you the only one to buy. You fall while you shake eating your sweet fellow and see takes that right see.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Remember what I said the other day that I do a podcast with Michael Cohen. I did a podcast with Michael Cohen and Lev Parnas, who worked for Trump personally. And there's only one thing Trump cannot tolerate, and that's being called a loser. He cannot be seen as a loser. He cannot tolerate being called as a loser. And now I'm starting to wonder if the IRGC are like, Malcolm Nance says, put out the video. That works. That video works. The propaganda on the other side, it's not oriented at us. It's oriented at young guys on freaking TikTok, right? Sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, the Middle East. And they're making fun of the Epstein files, Netanyahu, and the word loser appeared there no less than 6 times. The refrain is LOSER. This is serious proper. No, if somebody said, Malcolm, you got $1 billion, I'm going to let you loose in a full-scale propaganda war, what would you do? I'd be like, I'm hiring that guy. Whoever did it, I may have to use the CIA to get him a passport. But the point is they understand the audience that will be watching this on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And it's entertaining. And worse, some components of it are sort of accurate. They've got this guy's number. I haven't seen the United States put out anything. We have a psychological operations command. I don't know what they're doing, but they ain't doing this. They're probably, I have a friend in PsyOps. They're probably drinking coffee and laughing their ass off at Iranian videos. But without orders, they're not going to come up with nothing. What do you guys think?
Well,
Back in the day,
they've got plenty in Hex's briefings because they think as they keep repeating lies, they think it'll become the truth, and then they don't think that some of the intelligent stuff is necessary, I guess.
Mm.
I think
Okay.
like the United States used to do or used to have a good propaganda game where they pull out some movies, pull out some cartoons, especially back in the day.
Yeah.
Uh, we have learned from that and we have copied that. And it's kind of surprising to us that that has fallen through the cracks in the US. It just shows that the nationalism slash patriarchy that used to play a large part in the media in the United States with coherence with the U.S. government is no longer there.
Oy. Also, and people aren't doing it spontaneously. That they're making funny videos and all that stuff. Um, uh, this is the most. Are you aware that by statistics, this is the most unpopular war in American history? And that's saying something. We did some dumbass wars, right?
Yeah.
Spanish American War, but since the news does not move at the speed of a printing press and a telegraph wire, you don't have time to gain a sentiment. This war is just immediately unpopular. I think it's like a 29% approval rating.
Yeah.
So let's go to the questions. We have a lot of questions, and there's a good one. I'll let you guys let you take a shot. Jacob, our good friend, mother of Yorkies. That's a name that just kills. Do you think the Port Arthur fire at the refinery was an attack, and the U.S. Valero are covering it up as an accident?
I don't know. I
Any of you
don't know.
guys think?
I can't say.
Coincidence takes a lot of play.
Yeah.
You frozen, Malcolm. Iranians hacked you. Or is
Yeah.
it Trump this time?
They took all the good ideas about psyops and then they turned him off.
And he's gone now.
They switched him off.
You know,
Okay, I think Malcolm is gone and he can't log on when he's gone.
he cannot log on, so we should turn
yeah.
this off.
Yeah, we've gone on for a long time. We need to finish it off, but just for any one of you, I'm doing a special Q&A tonight, 8:30 Central European time, which is it 3:30 Eastern in the US. So do log on to that. Yeah, and then we'll be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I assume that as long as the war is going on, I think we'll keep having these live streams, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it won't stop anytime soon, unfortunately.
No.
So,
Like, subscribe,
okay.
and share.
Yeah. Subscribe, everyone. If you don't subscribe to Waji, push the gray box up there, and he pops up. And likewise for me, we will see you tomorrow. If you don't log on to the stuff I'm doing tonight at 3:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central European time. See you tomorrow. See you, Waji.
See you. Have a good one. It's good to talk to you, Jacob. Bye-bye.
You too.
Okay. The system crashed. That was not me losing power. That was the system crashing. So I'll let the other guys come back and we'll go back and answer the questions. Just give it a minute. You guys go get a coffee. We've got about 20 questions and we're going to give that. Holy cow. This is one of those 2-day shows. We'll let the other guys come back, but let me bring up the questions that we had before the crash. All right, there they go. Sorry, we had a systems crash.
I think
That was not me kicking out.
we did end it up over there and it was like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, it froze. Did it freeze for you? Because my thing showed that Substack was there, and I had to reinsert myself into Substack. So it happens, but which is fine. We're going to take a couple of questions, and then we're going to go on. Waiting for Jacob in the meantime. So Doug Minter said, my unit cleared the first 2 minefields in Kuwait. Doug Minter, you let me down. I hit one of your mines. Do you think the big issue are sea mines, no matter troops on the ground? I think mines are the trump card, no pun intended, Femper 5. Oh, he's a Marine. Oh, he did mine clearing. He was EOD. Yeah, mines are the trump card in this war because you don't know them till you hit them or detect them. Let me see. What percentage of military families are MAGA and will they revolt once they figure out the game he is playing? 43% of the armed forces did not vote for Trump. 43% of the armed forces are people of color. So, what are you looking at? 57% voted for Trump. I don't know how they're going to react. Do you stand by your comments? This is from Elovax. That last one was from Mother of Yorkies again. From Ecovax. Do you stand by your comments yesterday? Will U.S. troops parachute into one of the islands in the Strait of Hormuz by this weekend? No, not parachute. I think the parachuting, as I said earlier, is for something completely different. I think that the Marines are going to helicopter in, but parachuting, it's too big. The numbers are too big for what they want. By weekend, entirely possible because Trump timed this so that it would expire when the markets close on Friday. That gives him 2 days to manage whatever's going on in Iran without impacting the market. Do you agree,
You're
Roger?
still cutting off, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah, now you're back.
Oh,
You're rubber banding a little bit.
Okay. Okay, rubber banding. I said I don't. It's quite possible they could attack by the weekend because the markets are closing at the deadline, and it gives them 2 days to do whatever they want till the markets open again on Monday.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, it's possible. Let's go to the next question. See if I can find one for you. Wadja, which of their clients will the Qataris turn on first, Trump or Hamas? Oh, they've already turned on Hamas, haven't they?
Yeah, they've already turned on Hamas a while back. They kicked the leadership on the basis of American requests from Trump. Back when the Trump administration just got in power, and or are they asking which one of the GCC is going to turn against the U.S.?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Do you think Qatar is going to turn?
They already have. They all have kind of already turned against the U.S. in one way or another. They've started looking for different. They've started looking for different places to get protection. They started looking for different places to get their economic resources. I can bring it. I've written a couple of articles about it, and I can go in depth. But the short answer, yes, they have turned against the U.S. and they're frustrated with the current situation.
Okay. All right. We only have a couple of more questions. What about Iranian man-pads? That's man-portable air defense systems. That's surface-to-air missiles launched from your shoulder. And surface-to-air missiles, could they lose a lot of C-17s during the drop? It's possible, right? We're very good at doing things and not losing aircraft. We are very good at what we do. It's what happens when they land. And also, how are you getting out? Make sense? Yeah. How you getting out? All right. And oh, Leslie Gray says, does the $2 million multi-pass crossing fee get passed on to the consumer?
Long term.
Check your gas. Go to a gas station. Try to fill your tank. You'll find out. You can answer that question for yourself. All right. Okay. One last reminder. This weekend is No Kings Day, and I'm late for another podcast. So thank you all for coming. Be sure to subscribe to Waja, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Look at that, 2,500 followers today, an hour and a half. So take care. See you all tomorrow.